Race season 2025 is about to get started and the FIA Goodyear European Truck Racing Championship here in Misano, Italy. We have a six-time European champion talking about Jochen Hahn, but we also have a six-time European champion talking about Norbert Kisch. So guess this is gonna be a big one, and let's see how big this fight is gonna be. Jochen, new truck, very experienced race car driver, and I just said it's gonna be the fight for the 7th European champion title. So what's the season gonna be for you?
The season, now we start from zero, you know, and Nobby have 6 titles, we have 6 titles. Nobby build a new race truck to have the new challenge, we build a new race truck to have the challenge. Now we are full with fire and full with emotions, you know. Now we fight from zero. The next title, it's the overall best driver in Europe, not in the world. Nobby, remember, not only in the mirror. This year we changed the situation. We will beat you. We are very happy to stay here and for the fight. Enjoy it.
I always try to be hard with myself, you know, or we must not lay back, you know, because if we lay back, then I think we will lose this momentum very quickly. So we keep pushing. And I want to do it, you know. It would be really, really nice that if we can, if I could become, you know, the most successful driver in truck racing, and, you know, Revis Racing team could become the most successful team of truck racing, you know, in the future.
So much new. Who got used to Sasha driving purple? I did. Looks like he is in blue now. Also back in the game, René Reinhardt, he bought Balu Senior. Talking about Norbert Kisch's old truck. New color, new race car driver to come, new old one. Let's see how this story goes. Luke Garrett's also back in the game. Same truck, new color, new sponsor, and ready to race. Ready to race in Sascha Lenz's old truck, Christian Robert. He's experienced in Rally Dakar and now he's ready to race the European Truck Racing Championship. So many new drivers, new trucks, new excitement, new photo shoot, of course, for the 2025 season. And I think that's the only silent moment over here on the racetrack. Action's gonna come tomorrow. Balu Jr. is getting a hand, or a lot of hands right now. Obviously, Norbert is not out there for qualifying #1. Of course, everyone was waiting for the 6-time European champion to be out there and do his fast laps. Maybe we can hear for a second and a half what's going on, and if we will see him for the race at least.
Yeah, I'm pretty unlucky. But yeah, in the dry conditions, for sure, it's, you know, very difficult. The field is very close, very difficult to overtake. So if we make it to the race, you know, maybe we can get a few points, but I think nothing big, unfortunately, today, so unfortunate.
Yeah, I can understand the disappointment. Of course, tightest race already started. It's between him and Jochen Hahn, who is in front right now with his new truck. So, there's a little gap happening already, but I'm pretty sure you're a very good driver. You will make up for it once the mechanics have done their job.
Yeah, we will try the best.
With our new Iveco S-E-Way electric pace truck leading the field around, it was all guns blazing down towards turn 1 for the first round of the 2025 season. Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete were right together into the very first corner, having a brief bit of contact, while Steffi Halm benefited on the inside and then back around the outside with even more elbows out racing alongside Antonio. There were penalty markers flying as the entire field made their way round turn 3, and into the right-hander at turn 4, a huge plume of smoke. This would be Sascha Lenz locking up and going straight on, losing a couple of positions to his rivals. Jochen Hahn broke away in the early stages, hoping to take away points from his first race of the season. With the entire field close together, Norbert Kisch was storming through the pack, gaining nearly 8 places in the first lap. It was an incredible drive to begin with. The chrome battles were going strong a bit further back, Stefan Kirsch involved with Stefan Fass side by side in his new Freightliner. Before long, Norby was passing Sascha Lenz, the latter struggling with pace in the first sessions and hoping to turn it around in the later stages of the weekend. The two had been battling for many years now, and it was great to see them elbow to elbow on the circuit once again. But could Norbert Kiss win this race despite starting 16th on the grid? He was soon chasing down and overtaking Mark Taylor, and next on the list would be his new teammate René Reiner. Chasing down his teammate in his old truck Baloo Senior must have been rather surreal for Norby. The move eventually came down at turn 5, and it would not be made too difficult by René, making his return to the series after a 3-year hiatus. Norbert would continue on this charge forward through the pack, and soon he would be down the inside of his old teammate Antonio Albacete, who was having a challenging weekend of his own in the T-Sport Bernau MAN. Norby would then set off after Steffi Halm. Steffi had shown us some great defensive driving before, and this time round it would all be called upon to hold back a 6-time champion. She also had to think about having Antonio Albacete in the mirrors as well, who would be hoping to pounce at any given opportunity. The eventual racing was door-to-door stuff and very, very exciting. It lasted a good few laps as well and provided great entertainment. Eventually the result would be Norby ahead, but in retrospect it saved Jochen Hahn a lot of time in the lead of the race, and potentially meant that Norby could not catch up before the flag fell. Steffi would eventually hold on to 3rd place ahead of Antonio Albacete to take her first podium of the season. With moments to go in the season's very, very first race, Jochen Hahn was just ahead, with Norby filling the mirrors of the Iveco, but it would not be enough. Jochen Hahn would round the final corner to take the win on the road, with Norbert Kiss in 2nd place and Steffi Halm in 3rd. Christian Ruppert also completed his first race in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship with a successful run in his new MAN. After the race though, a penalty would be applied to Jochen Hahn for the turn 1 contact with Antonio Albacete, which meant that Norbert Kiss would inherit the win. Lena was on hand either way to catch up with the pair of them.
I mean, he did such a tight, good job with his new truck, and Norbert, I call him Mr. Pac-Man, and he really earns the title. There he is, so come with me, Jochen. We have him have a celebration, but you gained so many points. Congratulations. We just wait for him to take off his helmet. He needs another second. Maybe you can tell us what was going on through your head when you saw that there was a red car coming in the rear.
The red car made me not so really nervous. I see I was 4 laps more and he's behind me, and then we have a gap. I go to safety. But the start is a little bit tricky. I'm a little bit late, but okay, I respect, but Antonio closed the door and I must go to the right side. Otherwise, no, we have the contact. I hope all is clear on the start and the stewards see it like me, and then I'm happy, but not before.
So the results on the road then of the first race of the 2025 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship would see Jochen Hahn take the victory by just 0.6 of a second from Norbert Kiss. Steffi Halm completed the podium with Antonio Albacete next up. It was a win in the Chrome class for Mark Taylor for the first time this season.
And you took the time to be speaking a little more about newest baby in the house, the E-Truck, the Iveco SE Way.
Yes, well, definitely it's the new novelty that we put it on track. Happy to be here because, of course, it shows the multi-energy approach that Iveco has. So, you know, we've been supporting the ETRC with the LNG truck, and now we also have the electric one. It drove from Ulm, where it is born, up to Misano, and it just arrived. And it's driven by one of our colleagues. So the full story, of course, of our One Track family is also represented here with the SE Way.
Goodyear has been a long-term partner and sponsor of the FIA European Truck Racing Championship, but it's not all about performance, it's about so much more. Talking about sustainability, performance and refurbishing also of the tire, but there's one guy who knows so much more. Also, what has been improved about the race tire itself? Eric Muller, Director for Product and Innovation of Commercial Tires. Last year it was all about how the race tires are reused on the street tire. Now it's all about how this tire can be even more healthy and nice for the environment.
Hi Lina, nice to see you today here in Misano. So yes, indeed, we have done some modifications to the tire this year, and those ones are in the direction of more sustainability. As you said before, we are already reusing those tires with normal trucks on the road when they have done their first racing appearance, let's say, which is a very short one, but it's a very demanding one. And this one then we take the tire back, we re-put some rubber on it, and we use it on a normal daily truck.
The first reverse grid race of the season promised to deliver fantastic action, as we so often get in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, and there were plenty of fans up on the gantry ready to watch from the start-finish straight. It was Mark Taylor and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez on the front row of the grid, but a poor getaway from René Reinert backed up a lot of the pack in the midfield. Everybody did their best to keep it nice and tidy down through turn 1, and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Mark Taylor reignited their battle from 2024, this time one of them moving up into the Titan class, the other trying to take victories in the Chrome class. Sascha Lenz would try and make his move in the early stages as well, getting by and into the race lead. But Antonio Albacete was stricken with a puncture and bodywork damage and would eventually crawl into the pit lane. This late move by Louis Requenco certainly raising the eyebrows of John Newell. Norbert Kish was once again on a charge, and before you knew it, he was up into 4th position behind Mark Taylor, Steffi Halm and Jochen Hahn chasing in close proximity. Sascha Lenz had been struggling with the setup of the truck at the start of the season and was now at the front of the field, hoping to take some time to lead the race and get away, while Jose Eduardo Rodriguez held on ahead of Norbert Kish. Norby filled the mirrors of the blue MAN with a red MAN and soon tried to make his move. Jose Eduardo was defending wisely though, as we'd seen him do in 2024. Eventually a move down into turn 1 looked beautifully set up by Norby, and he swooped around the outside to take the inside line for turn 2, and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez could do nothing. He soon set his sights on the race leader Sascha Lenz and would do his very best to get by as soon as possible. Meanwhile, there was an inter-Iveco battle going on between Jochen Hahn and Steffi Halm as they too tried to catch up with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Norbert Kish now had the headlights ablaze effectively, chasing down the white and purple machine that had plagued him for previous seasons as one of his top competitors. Sascha knew what the score was, and we all knew he was going to defend as hard as possible for as long as possible. Eventually though, you could see Norby trying to set up the moves, and it just seemed like the setup of the truck was that little bit more stable than what Sascha had been struggling with, and he soon took the lead down into turn 4. Sascha gave plenty of racing room though, and it was really respectful stuff in the first race weekend of the season, while Mark Taylor got a black and orange flag to bring him into the pits after a hose had fallen off the truck, taking him out of contention for some big Chrome Championship points. The race would come to a premature end though, as the heavens opened at Misano, as they so often do. Clemens Hecker sliding off the circuit here to lose a place to Louis Requenco. Luckily for Clemens though, those positions would be returned into their previous order after the red flag had dropped. There were other position changes as well further up the pack, as Sascha Lenz lost a place to Steffi Halm, but that would be reinstated and Sascha would eventually take 3rd. Trucks 1, 2 and 3, positions 1, 2 and 3 once again.
And now finally third place for you, Sascha. What does it mean for you?
Ja, was soll ich schwer sagen? Habe relativ guten Start gehabt, konnte dann irgendwann Eduardo überholen. Ja, irgendwann war Nobby dann dahinter, dann habe ich ihn ziehen lassen. Momentan fehlt uns einfach die Pace, um ganz nach vorne mit anzugreifen, aber auch dahinter werden wir irgendwann kommen.
So after a rain-soaked and red-flagged race 2, Norbert Kish took the victory from Jochen Hahn and Sascha Lenz, with Steffi Halm holding on to 4th ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Jonathan Andre and Bradley Smith put on a fantastic show to take 1st and 2nd in the Chrome class.
Day number 2 in Misano, Italy. Our first race weekend already started yesterday with a lot of excitement, and we can wait for qualifying number 2 of this weekend, which is about to get started pretty soon. Jochen Hahn is getting ready for race number 3 of this weekend. I only want one quick word and then he can go into focus mode, because it's about, again, you against Norbert. So do you have any specific aims for today, or just go with the flow?
No, what you say, it's the focus mode. I have a really good time practice. I'm pretty happy with the 2nd place. I'm a little bit nervous, it's not true, but yesterday I have a start like, I don't know, it's the first time I do it or something like this. No, good start, a good race, without accidents. I enjoy it.
And hopefully we would enjoy it too. It was once again Jochen Hahn alongside Norbert Kish on the front row of the grid, with Antonio Albacetti and Steffi Halm on row 2. Norbert admitted to us that he didn't get quite the start that he would have wanted, but he managed to hold that 1st place, while there was even further contact between Sascha Lenz and Mark Taylor in the middle of the pack. Louis Requenco bounced off the side of René Reinert, and he would drop to the tail end of the field. Sascha's front right tyre would let go in spectacular fashion down towards turn 6, and he would have to limp back round into the pit lane and would subsequently be out of the race. Another big blow to the championship for the number 3 machine in only its 2nd day of competition. Further up the order though, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and René Reinert were fighting for a position in the Titan class, while Mark Taylor wanted to hold on to his Chrome championship lead. The 3 of them would be the epic entertainment we needed in race 1, while a lot of the field stayed in a similar position. Steffi Halm though certainly put in a great effort to try and get past Antonio Albacetti. Antonio eventually holding on for his first podium of the season, but it definitely wasn't easy. Steffi had come into the championship in 2025 showing a real revitalised pace and energy about her driving, and it was all wonderful to see. Bradley Smith pulled off this fantastic manoeuvre around the outside of Jonathan Andre as they too scrapped for positions in the Chrome class. Bradley unfortunately would have a penalty coming his way though, and would drop the position after the flag. The youngster had moved to Don't Touch Racing for 2025 and was showing everybody just what he's got in the right machine. Norbert Kish led from start to finish and would eventually take his 1st race win of the day and his 3rd race win of the weekend. Jochen Hahn would cross the line in 2nd position, taking more valuable championship points his way, with Antonio Albacetti completing the trio and 15 championship titles between the 3. Steffi Halm would just miss out in 4th position, but she'd still be very happy with that place. René Reinert finished in 5th place, another strong performance from him on his return to the championship, and Mark Taylor would take yet another Chrome class victory. The MAN certainly showing fantastic pace in 2025. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez would be next up, enjoying another battle with the Englishman, but it was back to winning ways at the front for Norbert Kish and Reveche Racing. This was the race 1 of the day that they were used to. It was all smiles between Jochen Hahn and Davide Califano of Goodyear, and a very good job well done from Iveco.
Antonio Albacete, yesterday was not his luckiest day on earth, but today even better, and what a fight with Steffi. How are you feeling now? Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it was good after yesterday's result. At least today we have a podium. Yeah, I have small problems on the middle of the race. I think I pushed quite hard at the beginning to be with Norby and Jochen, and I make a mistake, and then since then I said, okay, take it easy, keep the tires a little bit working for the last laps, and yeah, but it was okay. I mean, Steffi was pushing those laps, but by the end, the last 2 laps, I was able to pull away a little bit, so yeah, happy with the result.
So Norbert Kish took his 3rd race victory of the weekend and would beat Jochen Hahn to the line by 7 seconds on this occasion. Antonio Albacete completing the podium and taking his first silverware of the campaign. Another win in the Chrome class was all important to Mark Taylor, who'd had a bit of an up and down weekend so far.
Big grid, reverse grid actually, and let's turn around to see who's starting out in front. It's Clemens Hecker and it's René Reinhardt, who just came back after a 3-year break. He bought the old Baloo, it's Baloo Senior, so to say, the old truck from Norbert Kish. He's doing a fantastic job. He has not been racing for like 3 years. He just sat in and he became 5th and 6th and 4th and whatsoever.
Race number 4 of the weekend in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship always promises excitement, but unfortunately on this occasion an accident between Antonio Albacete and Luke Garrett would bring out the red flag and superhero mechanic Tim Frost into action.
I meant to talk to Tim for a second, but I think he really waits for him to be here to do some quick fixing right now. Did you hear from him if something serious is broken?
The minute, only information we have was it was a big hit to the side. The steering is touching something. Yeah, and now we just wait for the FIA to give us the go-ahead to send 1 guy in, and then hopefully I can somehow fix the steering quickly, and then we will try our best to get out for the last race.
A fantastic one-man repair effort by Tim Frost was unfortunately all in vain. The number 23 truck was ruled out of the race due to the damage to the right-hand door, obviously causing Antonio Albacete to be very unhappy. Luckily for us though, Franz Steilberg from the FIA was on hand to explain exactly why it had been ruled out.
Fortunately, obviously Albacete was involved in an accident with Luke Garrett. He got hit on the passenger door pretty hard. The problem is that the door does not open. So if this truck comes into an incident again, the truck itself, the condition looks okay, it could run, but we can't open the passenger door. So if that truck now falls on the side or anything like that, there's no possibility for any marshal to help him, and therefore we have to deny him to run in this run.
All right.
The race got back underway then with the same front row and the same grid. This time, René Reinhardt back round the outside of Clemens Hecker. But it was contact between Norbert Kish and Jochen Hahn that would certainly raise the eyebrows of the stewards. No further action in the end, but it felt at the time that Norbert had gained an advantage by being off the circuit. He definitely didn't gain an advantage by being clouted into the back of by Mark Taylor, another incident that would lead to no further action as there was a check-up down at turn 4. Mark would unfortunately spill fluid all over the circuit, making life a little bit more difficult for the drivers, as shown here by René Reinhardt and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Norbert Kish would inherit the race lead much earlier than he's used to as a result, and he would try and streak away from the front of the pack while everybody behind battled on. Despite what looked like significant damage to the rear of the truck, it seemed like Baloo Jr. was a lot tougher than everybody thought. The 5th wheel was bent in, the wheel arch was gone, but the truck behaved itself all the way to the end of the race. René Reinhardt was now hoping to bring home Baloo Senior in 2nd position, but holding off Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Steffi Halm and Jochen Hahn was not going to be easy. Sascha Lenz was also in the mix as well too, hoping to bring home some good points for his team. It was just a case of time and seeing how long he could hold on. Norbert Kish took his 4th and final race win of the weekend, with René Reiner in 2nd. Steffi Halm got another podium after a late incident between Jochen Hahn and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Sascha Lenz would also get some strong points as he wanted. The damage was clearly visible on Norby's truck, but a still fantastic weekend from them meant that he was all smiles leaving Misano. René Reiner, getting his first podium of the season, was very, very happy too. And so the final result of the weekend. Norbert Kish from his teammate René Reiner setting up a 1-2 ahead of Steffi Halm, Sascha Lenz and Jochen Hahn, and Clemens Hecker taking his first ever win in the Chrome class in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Norbert Kish leads the way after Misano on 60 maximum points from Jochen Hahn and Steffi Halm. René Reiner finds himself in 4th place ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, with Antonio Albacete and Sascha Lenz both having very trying weekends in the overall standings. Despite a tough start to his season, it was a very happy Norbert Kish on the top step of the podium, with his teammate René Reiner alongside him, and Steffi Halm taking home her 2nd podium of the campaign so far. Before you know it, we will be heading to the Lausitz ring, seeing whether any of these drivers can make it back up onto the podium, and we certainly look forward to what that circuit holds for the future of truck racing. Join us in a week's time, and we hope to see you there.